December, director Todd Haynes takes that idiom literally, having his stars Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore enact scenes in front of a mirror to comment on their own artifice and performative femininity. The film stars Portman as Elizabeth Berry, an actress trying to break out of the box of her hit television show by portraying Gracie Yoo, Moore, a woman who went to prison for her sexual relationship with then 13-year-old Joe. Gracie and Joe, Charles Melton, are married now with 3 children, and they agree to let Elizabeth into their lives to make sure she tells the truth, but instead, their lives begin to unravel. As Elizabeth studies and interviews Gracie, she often watches her in mirrors, taking notes on how she applies makeup and studying her gestures. But while filming, Portman and Moore were not actually able to see their reflections. "We were looking into the camera and there were marks," explains Portman. "Every time we did scenes in the mirror, the scene in the dress shop and the scene in the bathroom at the restaurant, all of those mirror scenes are just camera. We had marks to look at that were our own reflection and then the other's reflection. So you had to go back and forth between little XS remembering which one you're reacting to. We are used to this in terms of film acting," adds Moore. "When you're actually shooting into a mirror, you're often looking into a lens. But it was complicated because sometimes there was a mark on the wall where I was seeing myself in the mirror, and there would be a mark in the lens where I was seeing Natalie in the lens. We had to really remember which was which, as well as do these scenes in all one take. In order to get all those reflections, we needed to have a take that went all the way through. This required extreme precision and concentration from both actors, particularly because Portman is tasked with slowly taking on the mannerisms and appearance of Moore's character. This meant finding physical cues to work off of, while also finding the subtext of the storytelling beneath the literal action of the scene. We were a team," says Moore of shooting these scenes with Portman. "She's copying my gestures in real time. We're looking at ourselves in the mirror. We're looking at each other in the mirror. I make a gesture, she'll copy the gesture. Gracie feels affirmed by her copying of the gesture. There's all this wonderful mirroring that's going on, but you wonder, is anybody actually even seeing themselves? Are they seeing anything?" Portman found herself realizing the full extent of the subtext in scenes while actively performing them because her performance was so contingent on mirroring Moore. "My character asks, 'What was your mother like?'" recounts Portman. And Julie's character says, "Beautiful. She was beautiful as she's doing my makeup. I didn't realize on the page, until we said it, how much was in there, how heavy that was, how much is unsaid there, and what a devastating line that was, that the central facet of Gracie's personality is her makeup." This is also where Haynes' direction came into play, layering in subtextual sensuality. Todd added this very erotic element to it by having Julie touch my lips with her fingers and asking me to whisper, "epistemic relativism," says Portman, which is such a great direction to make that a sexy line. Though Moore and Portman could not see their reflections, Haynes frames these key scenes around the metaphor of the mirror, both emphasizing the role of the camera in our lives as a mirror that reflects life back to us and the ways our own reflections demand an element of performance. For Haynes, he deliberately chose this framing device as a way to force the audience to constantly question what they're being told. "I chose to keep an observant distance from the action with sustained shots," he notes. In these scenes performed in mirrors, the camera occupies the mirror itself and actors play directly to the lens of the camera as a mirror. In this way, the questions being asked in the film and the shifting allegiances from character to character keep being put back into your lap as a viewer.